Hi, everybody. So I'm trying to be the king of blurry thumbnails, so no one come for me. No one come for my crowd. This is what we're going to be doing today. I'm glad I pulled these out. I pulled these out for the thumbnail and they got blurry. So you can see in this bezel aisle, it stands behind him and it's in the dark. But in the other bezel aisle, he's facing it. And they're both in color. See? That's why we're doing this. That's what it feels like the return of this aspect is a little bit. And I'm going to put them both in the middle of the deck. And then I'm going to start shuffling it up. There were so many cards because I'm going to pull all the cards between them. There were so many cards between them last time. It would be lovely if this is like a 5-minute video. Or like a 20-minute video. I'm going to close my eyes so that I don't see them. And I'll just keep shuffling. Or I just won't look at it. It is so warm. I don't want to like encroach upon TMI territory, but I thought that the water fast would end at the water fast. It, it is still going. I'm like, oh my gosh, I was not prepared for all of this. Oh, I don't know why I really thought it would be easy. I was like, oh yeah, I can do it. Don't know what I was thinking. Don't know what I was thinking. It's been so warm today. Usually it's cool. I can feel the breeze, but it's still so warm. I am not a fan of heat. I don't mind warmth, but heat, not a fan. Oh, I feel like I got it. Top of the deck, Ananiel and Ananiel. The two Ananiels at the top of the deck. This is glory or destruction. When we listen to Ananiel, Ananiel is the eye of the storm. Ananiel tells us how to navigate the storm. And so it's when we don't listen that, property damage happens. Let's see if they stuck together. They did not. Here's the first bezel. I love this because I wanted this to be the first one. The first one is when our higher self sort of sits in the shadow, when it's hidden in shadow. Before we go in, we find it, we uncover it, and it's literally like it came out after the gate of Sahakiel. So this is definitely it feels like it's crossed over to this side, but we have to find it. First is Rahab, Angel of the Deep, not surprising. Then we have Barakiel, Angel of Lightning. We got this other Pinamue, Angel of the Written Word. Oh my gosh. Thank you for making an appearance. Armoros, the Angel of Undoing. Hamalio, the Angel of Virgo, which makes sense. Barbiel, Angel of Scorpio. Remiel, Angel of Visions. Malahidael, Angel of Aries. Heniel, Angel of Capricorn. This card, which is head side with the moon. Zachiel, Angel of Purity. Ambriel, Angel of Gemini. Cacabiel, Angel of Stars. Verkiel, Angel of Leo. Sukloth, Angel of Verdancy. Zuriel, Angel of Libra. And I'm going to have to shift things. See, I didn't put them together in the middle so they would be right next to each other. But I did kind of sort of hope that there wouldn't be like 20 angels in between them. But maybe that was a little bit of a low count for this type of journey. So lots of who do we have? Virgo, Scorpio, and then Aries, Capricorn, and then Gemini, and then Leo. And I'm going to try to follow this to the best of my ability. So again, Zuriel, Angel of Libra, Renf, Angel of Time, Asmodel, Angel of Taurus. So there's some Venus, Venusian energy. Samyaza, Angel of Pride, the second Renf, Angel of Time, Barkiel, Angel of Pisces, Asbiel, Angel of Ruin, Samyaza, second Samyaza, Angel of Pride, Sariel, Angel of the Waning Moon. I should have just took the whole thing. Why am I laying these out? I don't even have enough space. I don't have enough space. So we're moving the Gate of Sahakiel off of the table. Gate of Sahakiel revealed Satariel, Angel of Deception. Oh my gosh. Bezaliel, please don't give me like the whole deck. Penamue is here early. Heal. Penamue is heal. I don't even know how many this is. Hold up. Ah! See, I'm trying to keep these in order though. Am I even going to be able to pick these up? So I'm going to lay these all out and then I'll probably just put them back in the stack because I need to read the backs. So I've got 4 rows of cards with approximately 2, 4, 6, 7. There's 25 cards on the table right now. Eighth, Angel of Anger. The second, Sariel, Angel of the Waning Moon. And then the Trumpet. And then Bezaliel. Thank you, goodness. There's the second one. So we have both Renths. Yeah, both Renths are here. Both Sariels are here. Both Samyazas are here. Those might be the only cards that have 2. It's interesting that these 2 popped up. Which for me, it's more of the observer energy. Because this is when it's looking out. That's when it's blowing the trumpet. Now this one came out early. The trumpet, oh yeah, the trumpet was blown literally right before the bigger one emerges from the forest. Makes sense. I can see that, right? So we have the Gate of Sahakiel that is before all of this. It's almost like Azazel, Angel of Sacrifice, is at the bottom of the deck. Is that the first Azazel? Yeah, Azazel taught mankind how to forge weapons and tutored them in respecting this power. So he's coming back. And it's almost a point of redemption for him, maybe? It's interesting. These trees are a portal because we don't see the back of Bezaliel, right? We don't see the rest of him sort of behind the trees. Maybe we kind of do. Like maybe that's his elbow, but it's feeling like he's just emerging from the trees. That's how I'm seeing it, at least. So it's like there's this portal in the middle of the forest where it's almost like only things. And look, yeah, see, there is a certain. I don't know. This is weird because this is Gadriel, Angel of War, but Gadriel doesn't like to fight. And just like this Azazel at the bottom of the deck, This is the one that teaches us weapons, teaches us how to forge weapons and how to respect that power. This Gadriel is respecting that power after it returns. And then there's that Pinamue that's serving as a reminder. There's the other one. Like, I could scratch this out at any moment. Any moment you can lose everything because we're not doing weirdness. Not today. We are not doing weirdness. So, from top to bottom, we have Rahab, Angel of the Deep, Barakiel, Angel of Lightning, Pinamue, Angel of the Written Word, Armoros, Angel of Undoing, Hamaliel, Angel of Virgo, Barbiel, Angel of Scorpio, Remiel, Angel of Visions, Malahidael, Angel of Aries, Hanael, Angel of Capricorn, Zachiel, Angel of Purity, Ambriel, Angel of Gemini, the Watching, the front of the angel. Kokabiel, Angel of Stars, Verkiel, Angel of Leo, Sukloth, Angel of Verdancy, Zuriel, Angel of Libra, Remph, Angel of Time, Asmodel, Angel of Taurus, Samyaza, Angel of Pride, Remph, Angel of Time, Barkiel, Angel of Pisces, Asbiel, Angel of Ruin, Samyaza again, Angel of Pride, Sariel, Angel of the Waning Moon, Aiph, Angel of Anger, Sariel again, Angel of the Waning Moon, and then the Horn, and then the second Bezaliel again. When I sought out to do this, I did not expect for there to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27 cards. Wow, 27. That's like 3 nines. That's cute. 3 nines does sort of speak to a certain completion. I don't think completion is a word. 3 nines does speak to a certain amount of completion within body, mind, and soul, right? There's this Trinity energy. Shout out to Amanda on Crime Messages. There's this Trinity energy, and there's a completion in all of them. And I was in the lavatory earlier when thoughts come to me, as they do sometimes when I'm in the latrine. And it was this energy where it's like the heart isn't always right, the body isn't always right, and the mind isn't always right separately. But it's the combination of all three of them working together that puts that sort of in the right. What's interesting, first and foremost, is that after this Watcher is Kakabiel, Angel of the Stars. And I feel like that crescent moon imagery is repeated in the horn of Kakabiel. It's attached in Kakabiel, it's detached in this one. It also feels like everything up to this card is sort of its own thing. And then everything after that card is another thing because it ends in the trumpet again. So I will pick these up so I can better manage these. I will do my best to keep the order that they came out in. Oops. Because I do not have that much space and 27 cards is a lot. And it's also interesting. Well, no, never mind. Because I was going to say that all of the repeat angels came out fairly close together. There are 2 Remiels, but only one of them is on the table. Only one Pinamue is on the table. The other one is right behind Gadriel again. That's like, we're going to give you your gifts and your abilities. You're going to experience this expansion, this increase in them. Make sure you don't do weird stuff with it, or else we'll scratch your name back off the list. Because we've already done weird stuff. If you want to do weird stuff with your gifts and abilities, that time is coming to an end. / it's over. / please don't. Anyway, so now I can put this here. This goes in the middle, and then this comes here. Maybe I can make these all fit. This is interesting. This is really interesting. And I guess it reminds me of the dream space question mark. I don't know if I'm hydrated enough for that. I feel like I should have waited for this. Oh, I ain't got no energy in my body. All right, Spirit, y'all gonna have to fill me up for real because I have not the energy. I'm already like exhausted. I'm just exhausted looking at this. It's an energy. It's because there's this first part. This part has a pile between it. This is the first phase of the test where, but in this card, it feels like it's already present. So there's this energy where we experience a fraction of completeness. And then there's this observer that watches what we do with the fraction of it. Depending on how we navigate that, then there's this second sort of period. And once we reach the end of that, the horn is blown and boom, it's like full integration. I'm sure full integration takes time. It's going to be more. It's going to be more and more and more. And you get observed sort of at every step. And the better you're able to handle it in the moment, it's sort of like the more you get. And then there comes a moment when it's like you're face to face with divinity. It reminds me of what Reem said a bit when she talked about being out in the field on the solar eclipse and that energy of like meeting divinity or a more divine sort of, presence. It may not necessarily, I don't know. I don't know who it is or what it is, right? I don't want to do this anymore. 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 Whenever you're like, oh my gosh, it would be so cute if I did this. And then it's like, well, this is a lot. Actually, like, never mind. I don't think I want that anymore. It's like, nope, we're in this now. So what I'm doing is I'm going to timestamp these. So I'll say 1810 for phase one. So phase one is the part where there's a watcher that's sort of like halfway in heaven, halfway out of heaven, because we only see the front half. Peeking out, maybe that special visor allows it. Oh, that's like the veil, right? This is a veil helmet. It allows this angel to peer through the veil and observe us without necessarily having to be here. Because it's almost like if it got too close, you would feel it. It's an observer. Oh my gosh. It's the quantum nature of observation. Scientifically. Hey Zelda, how you doing today? Scientifically, it's kind of sort of proven that everything that we observe, you're at a Burger King. Oh snap. I'm glad I can eat now. When we observe something, it's changed. When they try to observe, it's like they go in with the lowest amount of, they go in with the bare necessities to observe sort of like isolated subatomic particles, and they can tell even by observing it the properties and the nature of those electrons and protons or neutrons. I was like, what's a nucleon? Like it's changed because of that little bit of energy that you give it when you're observing it. It's almost like a Schrodinger's cat type of situation, almost, but not necessarily. When you observe it, it behaves differently. So we don't know what the true nature is because we can't watch these things in their natural habitat without affecting how they behave. So there's this energy here of some, it's an energy that's like, it's further out. It's not absence, it's just further out because it's in a space of observation. And if it were more present, then it would affect you. And it reminds me of personally at the top of 2020, it was this feeling that like spirit had gone a little quiet. And then there were like quite a few other people, and it like for basically everybody, it was like spirit was going kind of quiet. It was still there. I have no clue about archetypes, Zelda. Sorry. I have no clue. Um so yeah, it's like spirit had gone kind of quiet. Cacavio, Angel of Leo was just like pushing this card off of it. Like I want to be seen. Okay. Are we done? Thank you. Uh and so it was yeah, it was like spirit is going quiet. Like what does it mean? Like and now we're in this space of really figuring things out for ourselves in a way. We're in a space of living out our authenticity, living in our space of integrity. That's what was being observed, which again kind of sort of makes sense. And it's like it feels like a spirit was too close, then it would have changed the outcome of things. Right now, what we're in the process of doing, it's like we are building and establishing. I'm just gonna keep talking. If it comes on, it comes on. We're in the process of building and establishing something for ourselves in a way where human choice and will is important. Spirit can't come down and create this world for us, this new world for us. We're in the process of deciding and choosing through the spaces of our choices and decisions and actions what this world is going to look like. And so, for that reason, it's almost like spirit had to take a step back. Not that they were absent, but they had to be far enough away that it was almost a test of what was already within us and how we were going to take that and then grow, how we were going to take that into these situations. So this is that phase. This is phase one. And let's start pulling these cards. So I'll flip through these again and then I guess I'll read them one by one. So we have Rahab, Angel of the Deep, Barakiel, Angel of Lightning, Penamue, Angel of the Written Word, Armoros, Angel of Undoing, Hamaliel, Angel of Virgo, Barbiel, Angel of Scorpio, Remiel, Angel of Visions, Malahidiel, Angel of Aries, Hanael, Angel of Capricorn, Zachiel, Angel of Purity, and Ambriel, Angel of Gemini. All of this feels like the setup. Because after Armoros, Angel of Undoing comes in, that's when we feel that connection more distant or severed, or it requires more for us to sort of maintain that. We're not necessarily in the space of being given what to do. So this is the setup for phase one. I need more space. I have enough space to do what it is that I'm doing. And I am grateful for that. So these four are the setup. Then Hamaliel, Angel of Virgo, Barbiel, Remiel, Angel of Visions. Feels like the early phase. Because it feels that like by Remiel, we are in a space of receiving. These over here. Hey, let's go. Malahi Dio is the space of us it's the space of our actions with the angel of Aries. And then Haniel, angel of Capricorn, Zachiel, and Ambriel. Maybe these are different sort of paths we could have taken, or different energies that were sort of floating around. Okay, so the setup. Do I need to read the backs of these? For every card that's on the table, I'm pretty sure I know what they do because I've used these enough. This will be interesting. Just whatever. It's me, right? I do all kinds of stuff. That's what I like. Ew, my head is getting sweaty. That's gross. Rahab, Angel of the Deep, speaks of us. I feel like Rahab, Angel of the Deep, is this incoming darkness that serves a purpose. Rahab knows what that purpose is, but we don't, right? That's the bottom of the card. No one can know for sure except the Grim Watcher. The passage into darkness was a place of no return. It was his home and his alone. That is its nature. So, whatever darkness we were coming into, we were not going to emerge from it exactly the same as when we went in. There's no returning from this. There's only moving forward. And maybe we move forward in a better way. Maybe we move forward in a not as great way. Maybe we move forward in a more or less the same way. But we're not going back because there's no way to undo what has happened. And again, Rahab knows what this period of darkness is for, but we don't. And then, us being humans, we kind of sort of discover into it what it is. Then we move into Barachiel, Angel of Lightning, an angel with an awesome power that he did not respect. Then we have Penamue, Angel of the Written Word, the angel that made man like the angels, the one who held the light for that space of transformation. That's a sort of sacred death process. Transformation is sacred. Penamue was the one that stood there when we were in this period of transformation. He brought the light into this space of darkness. And then Armoros comes, that shuts everything down. The angel of undoing, right? It said that Armoros removed the monuments that bound their will to men. After seeing Barachiel fall, they no longer wanted to take the risk. Barachiel is literally right here. And it's like you can see in Armoros, like we're full into the darkness at this point. That's why Penamue is now in this energy instead of this energy. It's interesting though, because in both depictions, his hands are held out. But it's almost like, see, in this one, it's almost like the light forms this halo. You see the halo around him? It feels like it originates from his hands. In this card, it's distorted by the smoke. So we don't see it. That's the space of the darkness. It feels like Penamue is actually sort of waiting for us. Also, if you look in the first card, there's a lot of broken spires. In the second card, they're complete. So even Penamue has left us. Left us. So the second phase, Hamaliel, Angel of Virgo, Barbiel, Angel of Scorpio, Remiel, Angel of Visions. It feels like in the beginning, when everything was just happening, whatever space we took in the beginning was almost indicative of the space that we would be in later. And both of these cards are holding their chests. That one has like a golden goose on it. This one has that, what? Is that the key of life or something? Oh, it's a sword. It's a sword that's a key. And it's like a staff. It's a sword or a staff that is also a key. It's almost like in the beginning there was an opportunity for integration. Hamalyle is representing integration. Barbiel is representing loss. But either way, there should have been these two stars in the night sky remind me of eyes. Like there's someone in the darkness watching or something in the darkness watching. I guess it was a space of observation from the beginning. Oh, yeah, that's spirit. That's like all the way back there, not able to directly interfere. Footsteps fall upon boundless hills, stretching one by one across the landscape our journey. See not the darkened slopes that present themselves today. There is light upon the farther side guiding us onward. This light upon the farther side, that it was the light that existed sort of outside of this tunnel of darkness, which is why it said, don't focus on the darkness today. But it was the darkness today in a space that we had never experienced that made it difficult, which is why both of these angels have their hands on their heart, because what was put in you would never leave you, no matter how the outside world changes. So here then we have this energy. And it's interesting that Zachiel is looking up to Malachi Dio. There you go. This is what was within us. This is what is within us that was now given a chance to rise in a way that it was never needed before. And either it's like we either took a more Arhaniel, Angel of Capricorn route, or a more Ambriel, Angel of Gemini route, because these two sit like on the other side of that Zachiel Malahadiel axis. I feel like Haniel is more sort of self contented, self concerned, and for Ambriel, it was a space of integration, right? Because again, we see that hand on the heart, but now there's a dark hand and a not so dark hand, right? Because Hamaliel's hand is dark, Barbiel's hand isn't. Ambriel has like two pairs of hands, and the dark hand is on the heart. This was the space, maybe, where we started to notice this. And it, in some ways, it reminds me of what Rob said earlier about demons being angels in disguise. Because it feels like a lot of, not a lot of, but some of the old demons are like fallen angels. But it's almost like they still fulfill their role, they just do it in a different space. And they can still guide us closer to the light, even from the shadows. It's like when you know yourself well enough that you refuse things that are not you. Like it's one thing to be open to new experiences. Like we should be that, we should do that, yes. but it's another to like know what compromises your integrity. And our integrity is not to be compromised. And so when you are offered something that does not align with you and you refuse that, it gets you closer to you instead of you being lost in whatever it is. And so it feels like it starts dark, but then when it's revealed in full color, it's something different. And it's funny because the North Node shifted into Gemini like May 5th, I think. Somewhere around May 5th, the North Node shifted into Gemini before we had the Gemini and Sagittarius solar, and no, before it was the full moon Sagittarius lunar eclipse. It was a full moon Sagittarius lunar eclipse, a new moon Cancer solar eclipse, like 0 degrees Cancer, and then a full moon in Capricorn. And then we had a second new moon in Cancer. So one of the new moons in Cancer was a solar eclipse, and then we had another new moon in Cancer that was free of that establishing a solar eclipse energy. This year we'll have two full moons in Aquarius, I believe, during Leo season. One in July and one in August. And it's interesting because Mars moved from Cancer to Leo. And there was something about that earlier, about one being the space of feeling, the other almost being the space of action. And it's like now that you're connected, now that you feel this, it's not necessarily how will you defend it and protect it, but how will you serve it? I like that. How will you serve it? So the bridge between people. See, yeah, this is literally as soon as North Node shifted into Gemini, not too long after that bridge between people was called into question. The bridge between people is one of the most fundamental aspects of the human experience. The arts, philosophy, and history all embody the way we reach out to each other through time and space. This connection cuts both ways, leaving those most deeply attuned to it extremely sensitive to the world around them. Embryo does not exist in a single place, but in the hearts and minds of those that truly understand its nature. The heart and the mind has been the space of question and actions for a minute now. And I feel like a lot of us have been looking at sort of like those in charge making decisions in an unprecedented time, not to go either way with anything. But it's like, if you are a government or if you are a person who is in charge of people, just like you had to make choices and decisions for yourself and your families, like the people in charge of like laws and stuff like that had to make choices and decisions too. And again, for me, myself personally, I'm not necessarily interested in micromanaging my life. So I would love for there to be people who care about people in charge of like, governments, in charge of schooling, in charge of like food and stuff like that. So I don't have to worry about it, so I can focus on other things in life that fulfill me. On the other side is the angel of Capricorn, which is interesting because this is what the South Node had moved out of. The South Node was moving out of Capricorn as the North Node was moving into Gemini. Walking into the future from the past, we travel a perilous journey. Sometimes there are people in our lives that guide us, and sometimes we ourselves must be the guide. This sign represents the part of us that must carry the torch of responsibility and tradition. The long and lonely road that stretches before us must be walked, but it does not need to be walked alone. It does not need to be walked alone. At the same time, the North Node is transiting into the bridge between people is one of the most fundamental aspects of the human experience. So it isn't necessarily an either or. This is us trying to manage both. Hello again, D. And again, it was such an incredibly indescribable time. But like I know people who like started their journeys in the middle of all that, who came into a space of awakening in the middle of all that, and who are doing like amazing things. And it was like, in the beginning, everyone was doing their Zoom thing, and it was like, oh, it's cute. And some people were like, oh, I'm glad to have some time off of work. And some people were like, I can't stand my family. I want to go back to work, or I can't stand the people that I live with. It was a little cute in the beginning. And then it kept going and kept going and kept going and kept going and kept going. It's almost like this is the space of a choice that we, it's not that we can't get out of it, but it's so important that we make a choice and decision of how we want to move forward, that we'll spend a little bit of extra time here if we need to. So this is all of that. Did I timestamp this? I think I did. So I'm going to timestamp phase 2 at 41:40. I'll do 41:41 to be cute. 41:41. Save. Oh, no, it's 41:44. So phase 2, we have. Oh my gosh! How many cards is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. There are 14 cards here. 15 including the trumpet. So I'll run through these and then I'll figure out how they lay down. So Kakabiel, Angel of Stars. Verkiel, Angel of Leo. Sukloth, Angel of Verdancy. Zuriel, Angel of Libra. Rinth, Angel of Time. Asmodel, Angel of Taurus. Samyaza, Angel of Pride. Rinth, Angel of Time. Varkiel, Angel of Pisces. Asbiel, Angel of Ruin. Samyaza, Angel of Pride. Sariel, Angel of the Waning Moon. Aeth, Angel of Anger. And Sariel, Angel of the Waning Moon. I almost threw up a little bit. Oh my gosh, my body is not used to having solids in it at this point. My body's like, what do I do with this again? I'm like, oh gosh, buddy, I need you to figure it out, please. I thought the water fast was over after the water fast was over, but I guess not. This part is weird. Ginger for digestion. I have ginger ale. I need to drink that. This part is weird. Since there are like multiples of angels, we have multiple Renths, multiple Sariels, and multiple Samyazas. There are cycles that are running with cycles. It's like so where's my iPad? Hey Siri, where my iPad at? Let's see if Siri will tell me. Hey! Welcome back. Hey Siri, where is my iPad?
Looking for it. Taking it now.
Oh, it's literally right here. All right, I got it. Thank you. All right, I got it. Thank you. I love that. I love Siri. I love Siri. I'm like, Siri, where's my phone? Siri, where's my iPad? Siri, where are you? Siri, turn off the lights. Oh, I love it. Like going to bed. Oh, I'll be in bed and then I'll be like, Siri, turn off the lights. And the lights will just go off. I'm like, ooh, see, it's not lazy. It's convenient. Because when you're comfy in the bed and then you got to get up to turn the lights off, then you lose that comfy spot. Just like if you got to go to the restroom and then you're like, oh, I can't go back to sleep now. I lost all the sleep. I'm going to try to draw this for you. How it's sort of like popping up in my mind. What is this? Did I not end up using this? I guess I didn't. No, I didn't. I ended up doing something else. I remember now. Oops, let's do this. Oh, it's on 44%. So it's like this. Oh, wait. Oh, I got to do my finger draw thing. How do I draw with my finger? Draw with touch is on. Well, can I draw, please? Hello? Why is this not? Come on, Mercury. Mercury, like, girl, please. Hello? I'll just make a new page. Let's make a new page. There we go. Can I draw on this page? Why is everything blacked out? Well, Siri can't do that. I wish Siri could do that. Unless I get the Apple tag or whatever. So it's not letting me draw it, which is fine. This is a technology free zone, apparently, today. So it's like this is the tunnel, like all of this is darkness. All of this is dark that we entered. This is the tunnel where it's like everything is just sort of like what is happening. And it's fairly linear. Fairly. It's dark though. So you don't know if you're moving forward or if you've stopped moving or whatever, right? And then there's this one second. And then there's this phase where it's like we're moving forward and there are these like multiple tracks, right? It's like these circles. And then it continues. And then we sort of get out of it. So there are like multiple sort of cycles within the larger process that we may have to navigate and re-navigate, or we may have had to navigate and re-navigate. So I will keep them linear until I wish I had more space. I wish I had more space. So these are the four. These are the four cards before we hit our first sort of loop. And it is Cacabiel, Angel of the Stars, Verkiel, Angel of Leo, Sukloth, Angel of Verdancy, and Zuriel, Angel of Libra. We have Leo and Libra, which is a sextile. That's an opportunity. And then we have Renf, the Angel of Time, which starts our first loop, and then Asmodel, and then Semyaza, which starts our second loop. So the second loop, oh, nice. Because there's here, then here's Renf again. So this first loop is complete. From Renf to Renf, Asmodel and Semyaza are in between. But Semyaza starts another loop that has Barkiel, Asbiel, and Semyaza again. So between Semyaza and Semyaza, it's Barkiel and Asbiel. So the loops are closed. But before we exit, it's Sariel, Aeth, Sariel. And so this is a loop sort of like all on its own. And the beauty of being multidimensional creatures is that we can operate multiple dimensions at once. So it's like we're operating this Sariel Aph Sariel sort of cycle. At the same time, we're operating the REM cycle. And there's actually like the REM cycle bleeds into the Samyaza cycle. But if we miss that, then it's like we'll just stay in that REM cycle. Like if it makes any sense. It's like a roundabout. They're starting to put roundabouts all over the place. And if you stay on the roundabout long enough, you'll come out where you went in. Because it doesn't necessarily feel like the Sariel loop runs after the Semyaza loop is over. It feels like the Sariel loop runs simultaneously. And it's interesting because yesterday, question mark, or the day before, Sandalphon, Angel of New Life, came out after Eighth. This is our yesterday that we say goodbye to as we welcome a new tomorrow. And I love that it's with the waning moon because that means that the moon is going to be new. And it's making space for us to experience, integrate this new. And again, like here's the trumpet. So as soon as you complete your cycles, then someone blows the trumpet, and then Bezaliel comes back, and then you're free to do whatever exists to be that Gadriel, and just you're free to create. You're free to choose less attachedly, less dependently, which is why it's so important, I guess, that we run these phases and that we run these cycles. Because Gadriel, even though he is the angel of war, he doesn't like to fight. He's not like Ares or Mars, who's the angel of war and they love war. And so you get war all the time. I love this. I love that the angel of Pisces in here is in here too. It's interesting. Where is Cambiel, angel of Aquarius? So let's get into it. So we are coming out of sort of that first phase, coming into this phase. And we start with Kakabiel, angel of stars. The silent field of swaying grass waved at the ocean above. The giants march past us by the thousand, and many more. Infinite upon infinite, they don't look back, we stare on. Verkiel, angel of Leo, as adversity washes against us, we rise with those waves. Each moment in our lives where we are challenged by the world, we challenge it back. To be bold and in control is the nature of Verkiel, the ruler. This sign brings with it the courage to bring shining light into a world that struggles against the darkness. This is that when the world goes dark, shine brighter type of energy. It's so fitting that there's a Samyaza loop here when we have Verkiel, which is a call for us to be light in a space of darkness. In a world that struggles against the darkness, to be that light. In a world that struggles against the darkness, that is plunged into the darkness. It wasn't a setup where we set up to fail. No, we were set up to rise, right? Each moment in our lives where we are challenged by the world, we challenge it back. As adversity washes against us, we rise with those waves. We rise. And then we have Sukloth, angel of verdancy, and Zuriel, angel of Libra. It actually feels like these are outside. This is the nature of the challenge in this space of darkness. This is how we get out of it, essentially. And then these two loops, there's actually like a sort of, because of how these are positioned, there's like this eight energy. Well, it's an infinity sign because it's on the side. This is how we navigate it. But at the same time, we're also navigating this A flute. So, Zuriel, angel of Libra, all things have opposing forces. The rotations of the celestial bodies show us a macrocosm of our own swirling internal relationships. Zuriel is the regulator of these forces, weighing their value and attempting to find balance. The wind passes the grass in waves, carrying with it the seed of growth, flowing across the landscape and burrowing into the cool soil. Plant life seeks the sky, and with it, the dominion of Sugloth expands. Let your roots settle. It is the season for blossoming. Here's the wind passing over the grass in waves. And here in Cacabiel is the silent field of swaying grass. In this silent field of swaying grass, seeds are being planted with these two energies. Libra and Leo is asking us if we're going to take the opportunity to rise and shine, like Amanda said. And if we are going to put into these seeds enough energy for them to grow and blossom. It kind of sort of takes a lot to break seed dormancy. But once the seed breaks, then it's like nature takes care of the rest, right? As long as the plant continues to grow, it doesn't have much to worry about. So that actually, this is at the begin. The beginning. The begin is at the ending. The begin is at the ending. The end is at the beginning, and the beginning is at the end energy. Because we start in this energy of planting the seeds, then we return to this energy of growing the seeds. But it all goes back to the seed. This is the part that's interesting. Because we have this Rempsim Yaza loop, and then we have this Sariel loop off to the side. It's also interesting because, again, it's this Gadriel, Ari Gadriel. Gadriel was a giant even among his own kind. His spear stood as a symbol of assured destruction for anything that opposed the will of the Watchers. Despite his threatening stature, he was a peaceful soul. Most days he could be found sitting outside camp with his eyes upon the horizon, a surreal portrait, serenity carved in alabaster. Once asked what he was thinking about, the angel lifted his spear and pointed up to the sky, the tines framing the North Star. And then the angel of stars is here. This energy is tied to Asbiel because it feels like both Asbiel and Gadriel are waiting for the war to end. And it's funny that Gadriel is here, the angel of war who doesn't want to fight, when we need to navigate out of this eighth angel of anger cycle. And it's almost like behind Gadriel and Aeth, it's the same sort of architecture, the same sort of sigilry. But in Gadriel, it's like there's power flowing through it, and it lights up. But in Aeth, it's like it's dormant. There's no power because all of it is going towards this. All I can say is weirdness. I feel like weirdness is the easiest, least descriptive way to say it. Everything that could power this sigil, like this isn't a sigil that's powered by blood. It's not. It's a sigil that's powered by spirit. So it almost doesn't matter how much you sort of bang your head up against the wall. If that energy isn't compatible, then the sigil isn't going to light up and the door won't open. And it's almost like that's the energy that we're in the process of filtering out. It's literally like a filter. This is a filter. Everything that won't pass through will get trapped in the filter. And then we throw the filter away. and then you discard it. You discard it with everything that was trapped, and you enjoy your nice cup of coffee, right? Or whatever. I had a filtration lab one time. It was kind of terrible. I feel like that was the stinky lab. Maybe not. Maybe it was. Welcome back. All you missed was this like loops within loops type of whatever this is. Excuse me. It's interesting that Gadriel is alabaster because Rimph is also alabaster. Is this the first one? No, it's not. So the first Rimph, the ocean pulsed, pushed onward, beat by beat, marching forward. They die up on the beach. And with each stroke, the sand pulls upon the stones, polishing faces smooth. This is sad. I don't like this energy because it feels like everyone who was sort of lost in that. Marching forward, they die up on the beach, and with each stroke, the sand pulls upon the stones, polishing faces smooth. On one hand, it's sad. On the other hand, it feels like it makes room for a true expression, right? It's like if you have a mask that's whatever, that's not you, then it's like erasing everything that's on the mask so you can draw your true face on it so that there's no difference between your face and the mask. And so it's the space of something being sort of wiped clean. And again, all of this is about this tunnel of darkness that we've come into that Rahab knows. Rahab knows what this is about. Spirit knows what this is about, what we have the opportunity to become, the world that we have the opportunity to create because of this very, very, very unique and unprecedented and almost in some ways unimaginable happening. The whole world is positioned to change almost all at once. And so it's not a change here, but everyone else everywhere else is terrible, or a change here and a change there, because it was we're in the space of everything being able to change. And in everything changing, it's like there are so many systems within everything that can also change. I mean, how else do you transit between one age and another? I don't know. Then why not take off the mask? I think we will. When we escape the REM cycle, I think the mask comes on. Is this the Samyaza that I like? I hope this is the Samyaza that I like. I hope it is. So first is Asmodel, Angel of Taurus. To stay steady, enjoying a moment of reprise is not selfish. A breath that takes us back to our center is essential. We must respect the anchor that holds our feet to the ground. When we do this, we wield a strength that can push back against the spin of the world. Asmodel is there, the embodiment of the focus and dedication we hold when we make a commitment, a moment of clarity grasped in a closed fist. This keeps us stuck in the cycle. That's literally what this is. This is us getting trapped in the REM loop, in the time loop, where time stands still. Even though time progresses, we still face the same issues day after day after day. Where transits from hundreds and thousands of years come and they play out exactly the same because humanity hasn't grown or evolved or changed. But that was old energy, right? New energy, new possibilities from these planets. Right, and that's not but I can within myself draw a parallel to what Russ said when he said that it's going to take a while for Neptune to hit that Aquarius stellium, because the Aquarius stellium is where everything sort of shifted and changed, right? We had Saturn and Jupiter conjunct in the 0th degree of Aquarius. So everything that's passed through Aquarius since that conjunction is already sitting in the space of offering us new energy. Mars hit it, I believe, because Mars was in. Maybe it did. Maybe it didn't. I don't know. I don't remember. Uranus hasn't hit it because Uranus has been in Taurus. Neptune is in Pisces and is even slower than Uranus. No, it's not. It's faster. No, it's not. It's slower. Just served S9 Pi. Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pisces. So yeah, Neptune is even slower than Uranus, and it's 2 signs behind. Uranus is in Taurus, and then before that, it's Saturn, and Saturn was there. So like every energy has shifted except for Uranus and Neptune. All the other energies have already sort of hit that space where they have been transformed. I think yeah, because that was in Capricorn season. So that conjunction happened before the sun transited into Aquarius. Okay. This is the card that's like hold fast to everything that we used to believe, right? It literally says, what does it say? We must respect the anchor that holds our feet to the ground. When we do this, we will the strength that can push against the spin of the world when the world is actually spinning into something new. So the world is spinning us into new energies, closer and closer to the energy that we actually want. It's preparing itself. It's almost like in some ways it's wiping the slate so we can build anew, but we're still holding on to everything old, which is like it defeats the purpose. So yeah, that's why this is in the REM time loop. Fill in the gap vibes. Ooh. Semyaza. As the angel sang, a single speck. Yes, this is the one. This is the one. I'm pretty sure. Thank you. I was like, I hope it's the good Semyaza that's breaking us out of the REM time loop. As the angel sang, a single speck of something passed through the light and cast a tiny shadow down on the earth. Beneath the stars, that shadow looked back at the heavens and saw himself for the first time. He gave himself his own name and turned his back on the existence he'd been granted by the universe. One by one, Semyaza called out for his brethren, and they bowed to meet him. He was the giver of names, Lord and King. There was to be none before him and none after. That last part, I honestly don't understand. It gets a little weird for me. But it feels like this is the energy of like one light in the darkness, lighting others and encouraging others. Who was it? Eve, Amanda. Was it Rob? No. It was Lauren. No. Yes. No. It was in the Light Seer. So it was Rob. Maybe. Somebody today, somebody who I watched today had a 9 of Wands, and the 9 of Wands was I think it was Lauren. I don't remember. Somebody today had a 9 of Wands that was the energy of like a smoke signal, and how like one person in one sort of village or town can light a signal fire and that would trigger another one. And then so you get these signal fires that would like light up all across whatever, right? Like Great Wall of China type of energy, right? When they was trying to protect it from Mongolia. It's like you see one fire and then another fire lights. Had a chance to see Rob's video. Yeah, yeah. I think it was Lawrence. I feel like it was. Did I see you in Lawrence today, Amanda? I think so, maybe. I feel like I saw you somewhere, right? I don't remember. A lot of stuff has happened today. I was talking about how like I started at your live and then I went over to Lauren's live and then Rob went live. Okay. Yeah, maybe it was her. And I don't remember the context. But anyway, it's the energy of fires. Oh, see this is that Fanuel. This is the Semyaza that I like. This Semyaza breaks us out of the Renf time loop. And then exactly, I love how these cards played out. Because this is the Semyaza, the light that was cast down upon the earth that looks back up and remembers where it comes from. And in that remembrance, it gives itself a name. Now, here is the energy that is the flame that cracks its skin is the same as the fire from within, an alabaster form folded like the steel of a sword, always pressing onward, the sharp beat of its heels grinding the past into dust. Love this. I'm glad this came out this way because this is us. Again, that's the energy. Oh, okay. Gotcha. That's the energy of the mask. The face of the mask is polished smooth, so we can draw our true face on it. And it's not that we necessarily wear the mask, but that's the energy of the fire on its skin is the same as the flame from within because it's been rediscovered. Yes. Because the other Semyaza I don't like as much. So I'm glad that this is the one that breaks us out of the Renf time loop. So it's like we break that time loop. Yeah. Wait, of what line? Of what line? Hold on, wait, what? Did I miss it? I'm so excited now. I'm glad I decided to do this because when like 27 cards came out, I was like, I was supposed to be here for 5 minutes. Amanda, I don't like being on here for as long as I am all the time. Sometimes I am like, oh, it's only like 2.5 hours. No one is going to watch this late, so let's do something crazy. Sometimes I am like that. But most of the time, I would love a like 20-minute video, even though sometimes I do push it out longer. The light shining down that reflects back. Oh, yeah, yeah. When I heard that, I was like, oh my gosh. This is. Oh, see, I don't want to do it. It was that thing. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it real quick. That's the energy of Phanuel, Angel of Truth. He's literally right here. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Oh, oh. These cards are so good to me. I love how they're laid out. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you. Yeah, it does. Because here's Phanuel, the Angel of Truth. And I got this. So Phanuel, the Angel of Truth. This most patient attendant will wait for your arrival. Phanuel has been here long before you arrived, standing in the gateway to the throne. You may not have seen it, you may not have heard it, but Phanuel waited there for you to wrap you in its warm cloak. Seek it and you shall find it. To wrap you in its warm cloak. This is the cloak that Samyaza has now found. It's like, because we see these other ones with like blank cloaks who are sort of like not yet in their power, not yet have like created or found a name for themselves. And then there's the Semyaza with the Gucci, the what, Louis Vuitton, Chanel, whatever, with the designer cloak who's standing in his power. That's the white snake around his neck. Turiel has the red snake of spirit. And when both of those snakes are aligned, it creates the gateway, the gate of Sahakiel, the gateway that this Bezaliel emerges out of. That is the pillar card in the Threads of Fate Oracle. And look, this it says, this most patient attendant will wait for your arrival. This is an energy that exists outside of time. Semyaza is our key to breaking the time loop, the Renf angel of time loop. This one will always wait. I love it. I love it. Thank you. Thank you. I get excited because, like, I'm glad when the energy is like, when it's progressive, when it's moving somewhere. I get excited. And Phanuel was between Laliel, Angel of Night, and Duma, Angel of Dreams. And I felt like for some reason that was fitting, especially when we have Kakabiel, Angel of Stars out here. And another thing about, where do I put this? I'll put this here. I don't have any more space. I'll just put it at the bottom of the deck. I'll put it at the bottom. Another thing is this. Like I said, this Bremph right here holds a synchronicity to Gadriel because they're both alabaster, right? An alabaster form folded like the steel of a sword. An alabaster form folded like the steel of a sword. And this is the Angel of War. Right? What does it say? Where is it? A surreal portrait serenity carved in alabaster. He was a giant even amongst his own kind. His spear stood as a symbol of assured destruction for anything that opposed the will of the Watchers. An alabaster form folded like the steel of a sword, always pressing on, the sharp beat of its heels grinding the past into dust. I love that energy of grinding the past into dust, because it feels like it's sort of like freeing us from these cycles that we repeat and repeat and repeat. Because, and it's very much that energy, right? Those who don't learn from their pasts are doomed to repeat it. And so we've been repeating a lot of stuff ad infinitum. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So this is, yeah. And this is Duma again. Okay. So we have successfully navigated outside of this Renf time loop. We have been recognized by Fanuel. Fanuel has given us this cloak. At first, it was rough, right? But again, it's almost like that darkness positioned us to experience the truth of our light. And that's how I got it last year. It was like when the world goes dark, shine brighter. It's like there's less and less external light. And what it's doing, or what it has the opportunity to do, is to encourage this internal, I want to say fission or fusion reactor. It triggers this light from the inside. Because it's getting so dark outside, now it triggers this light from the inside. And the more we sort of take care of that light, the more we sort of fan the flames and we go upon that journey. Because again, it's almost this energy of like there's a light that's born from darkness, but it's further evolved in the light. And so the more we evolve in the light, the brighter our light gets. And as our light internally gets brighter, eventually it reaches the point where it starts to shine outside. So we are those signifiers. We are those beacons of light in the space of this darkness that casts light outward and that lifts the fog. Potentially, right? Don't take my word for it, you know. But that's what it felt like. That's what it felt like. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, it worked. That makes sense. So now the Semyaza loop, we start with Barkiel, Angel of Pisces. When harm comes to the people, the relationships and the things in our life, this is another call back to Ambriel, Angel of Gemini. No, yeah, yeah. Let me just check. I'm pretty sure it was Ambriel, right? She should be right here. She's not right there. There you are. Yes, the bridge between people is one of the most fundamental aspects of the human experience. So this is a callback to Ambriel. North Node is in Gemini right now. We should be acting in the space of that connectedness. Should be. I don't want to say should be. We could be. When harm comes to the people, the relationships, and the things in our lives, we have to take time to help repair them. It's not easy, but bringing those pieces back together is what we have to be to live a good life. In those moments, we are close to Barkio. Deep down, everyone has a nurturing aspect. Choosing to cultivate it helps bring us closer to our truer selves. And I love this energy. Because so this loop, after we step into Samyaza, after we step into a space of remembrance and the power of remembrance, after we're fanning our internal flame bigger and bigger and bigger, there comes in, again, like I said, once it gets so bright, it starts to shine outward. And it's sort of like what we do with that Barkiel, Angel of Pisces, is sort of asking us, right? It may not necessarily be easy, but it's what we have to be to live a good life. I'll read it again. And this is like, for me, like, this is, I guess, one of the things that really upset me the most about people or some individuals in the spiritual space. It's that, like, we're coming into our power, we are co creators, we're coming into our sovereignty and all of that stuff. But at the same time we're doing it, there were some people who I heard where it seemed like they would take that and then almost like do nothing for the people and for the situations that are very much so suffering like all around the world. And it's like, the limit of what we can do, I don't know. I don't know if me manifesting a collective that actually cares about people and that moves the world forward and humanity forward. Like, I don't know if anything that I do actually influences anything, but it's not for me to know. And actually, I'll take that back because I do see. I've seen. So, but like, do I know it? Can I prove it to anybody else? No. That's my point. I can't prove it to anybody else, and it's not for me to prove it to anybody else. But in my mind, it's like, if you're going to come into that level of sovereignty, it's not even like you have a responsibility to make the whole world better for like everybody. It's just a question of like why you wouldn't. Like if you have the power, and it's not that, because I know that, what is it? It's like you can get sort of fatigued and burnt out and overwhelmed by everything constantly happening in the world. And so it's not to push ourselves or put ourselves into a space where it's like we're inundated by it and we can't function. It's just that like maybe not being so dismissive or just saying like a little prayer, like hoping it works out or send some good energy or something. It's honestly, it's like just not to be dismissive of it, I guess. I don't know. It's not for me to put on to anybody else. If you are a sovereign being, and we all are, I'm not anyone to dictate or determine what anyone does with their lives. I just think it would be nice if we could come into a place of power and then within our own space of manifestation put that out there to actually better the world in ways when the world, like when these things present themselves to be corrected. Because I feel like a lot of us, it's like, we will do that. But then when an actual situation comes up, then it's like, where's the action? And again, it's like, like, you don't necessarily have to go out and do something yourself. Like, you don't have to go and drive, and whatever is for you to do is for you to do. And what is for other people to do, it's for them to do. But it's just like, have compassion enough to care. I guess that's my point. That's a Patrick thing. It may not be a spirit thing. Take it as it resonates. If you don't care about people, I guess that's fine. That's fine. You can continue to not care. I'm just reading the card. That just so happens to align with what I believe. Anyway, when harm comes to the people, the relationships, and the things in our lives, we have to take time to help repair them. It's not easy, but bringing those pieces back together is what we have to be to live a good life. In those moments, we are close to Barkio. Deep down, everyone has a nurturing aspect. Choosing to cultivate it helps bring us closer to our truer selves. And I didn't read Scorpio this time, so I'm going to read Scorpio this time. And I'll read Hamaliel too. I'll read the Angel of Virgo and the Angel of Scorpio. Angel of Scorpio. There are times when words fail and action must be taken. When trials beset our lives and no other course of action is available, we have to fight. The nature of this sign is to be an ally, loving in the easy times and harsh when the world demands it. Barbiel is our sword against the darkness. It is our power to strike back when necessary. Hamaliel, Angel of Virgo. And each person hides a gift that they have yet to give to the world. Untapped potential rises just below the surface and is withheld until the moment is right. This reservoir of energy stands in wait, building a very special sort of power through its hidden nature. Hamaliel embodies the secret wellspring that flows from all of us. And it's almost like, because Rahab was here, literally the first card, right? Angel of the Deep. This is the space. It's like this darkness, being subjected to this darkness, calls out the light. but it's something that honestly Spirit had to trust. Because we have free will, we could do it, and we could not do it. We had the choice. Spirit had to trust that enough of us would find that light in the darkness. What'd you say? I love Amanda. Like when Amanda's like part of me doesn't want to say anything because I'm like, I don't want to interrupt. Like I'm just like so enraptured. I'm just like listening. But yeah. So Asbiel, Angel of Ruin. The great sage Asbiel was a beloved storyteller. Gifts were brought to him regularly from those who wished to hear him speak, a tradition he loved. His dictations started. Wait, sorry. His dictation started at dawn each day. The constant stream of tokens he was presented meant he spent his days speaking almost without end. When war came, he held out hope for peace. And it's the angel of ruin. He became the angel of ruin because the war never stops. The war never stopped, but Asbiel is still holding out for peace. Thank you. I'll try. Sometimes I'm just like, and then I think you also do a good job of like, I feel like you say what is meant to be said within that, and then you go and you look at the chat. So it's like you maintain that train of thought. So, and that's something that I noticed today too, which I am appreciative of because I feel like even if I do say something, it like won't interrupt that stream. But that's why Gadriel is here. It's the angel of war who no longer wants to fight. That's Asbiel, right? That's that fighting. That's the time loop that we're trapped in because we're always at war, always at war, always at war, always at war. There's never any escape when you're always at war. But this energy, again, it exists outside of the time loop. Barkiel exists outside of the Renth time loop. You're easily distracted. Both of these exist outside of the time loop, which is again, that's why at the same time we're navigating all of this, we're simultaneously navigating the Sario loop, which is all about Aeth, the angel of anger. Aeth is the only angel in the Sario time loop. And again, it's almost like the moon can't go completely new as long as we're still in this space of war, as long as we're still in this space of anger. It's like it'll wane more and more and more and more and more, but it won't hit that new space for it to start waxing if we're continuously repeating this. We keep ourselves stuck there, which is why, it's so much about connecting to the heart. And like, honestly, within my own personal life, there have been so many times, and I'm grateful to have grown to this point. But there have been so many times where like I'll be in an argument or I'll be upset with someone or there'll be like a conversation that's just like it's charged, it's emotionally charged. And in that space it's like I'm not here to argue with someone. I'm not here to argue with anyone really, but especially someone that I care about. Like I'm not doing any of this to blame. I'm not doing any of this to make anybody feel bad. I'm interested in resolution and interested in speaking my truth. Sometimes I speak truth better than other times. Because in speaking truth, especially to people who acknowledge and respect and honor your truth, then it's like it prevents those things from happening in the future. There are some people, unfortunately, who it's like you can tell them that there is something that they did that upsets you, and they'll go, okay. And then they will turn around and do that very thing at sometimes to upset you. It's like knowing that it upsets you, they will still intentionally do it. And it's like, I guess that was a sort of reality for some people more than others. And so for people who experience that a lot, they may not feel comfortable sharing what actually upsets them because it's always something that's used against them. But at the same time, if we never let people know that what they do upsets us, then how will they know when they're upsetting us? So it becomes this again, it's like it's all of these cycles, all of these things that we're simultaneously navigating to come more and more and more fully into a now space that reflects what we want to experience. Well, I'm glad it's working for you, D. I'm glad something that I say is helpful or useful. So, closing out the Samyaza time loop, this isn't a time loop. This is the angel of pride. So, it's an ego loop. So, there's the time loop, there's the ego loop, and then there's the waning moon loop that's closing out anger. It's wrapping up frustration and anger and things of that nature. So, closing out the ego loop. All hail, firstborn, giver of names, father of giants, protector of the house of man. Long shall be his days. I feel like this is spirit. This is a Six of Wands energy, but it's almost like a recognition from spirit. And look, there's the Leo, there's the lion, bringing light. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Bringing light into a world that struggles against the darkness. Verkiel, angel of Leo, literally the lion right there. I love that Semyaza today doesn't feel like pride, but it does feel like using your gifts and abilities in the space. It's like at the same time that we're evolving in spirit, we're also evolving in compassion for the people that we share this earth with, and for the creatures that we share this earth with, for the plants that we share this earth with, for the earth itself. Now, I'm not necessarily a vegetarian, but maybe one day I will be. So then we have the Sariel loop. Sariel, Ave, Sariel, angel of the waning moon. So at the same time that all of this is going on, there is this cycle of anger that we're closing out. And I feel like it's important to address everything that's coming up now because if someone is upset or if someone is angry and they are dismissed and or their problems aren't actually resolved, it breeds more anger. It's like it suppresses it, and it's like in the space of pressure, it's intense. There's a lot that no one necessarily has the solutions for. No one person necessarily has all of the answers or solutions right now. But I do believe that in the space of conversation, in the space of genuinely wanting to move forward in a way that is more respectful and honoring of everyone, that we can find the solution. And I feel like I'm seeing more and more and more that people are caring, and it's like we're being sort of inundated by it more and more, to the point where sometimes for me it's like, because I'm low key, I feel like a lot of people, it's like things sort of go down in America and they're like, oh, we're going to run away to Canada. We're going to go to Canada. Or some people go to Mexico. Or like, oh, we're going to go to Canada. And now, like, we're starting to see stuff is happening in Canada where it's like, okay, well, Canada isn't necessarily any different. Everywhere has things. And it's something for us to take care of all over. Or not. Oh, I love that, D. Yeah, I'm not a fan of button pushing either. I'm such ooh, I'm like, what? It's interesting. It feels like all of this is light. I mean, it started light with Kakabiel and Verkiel. And it's like there was a little bit of fixed energy here. But once we separate ourselves from that time loop, when we come into the Samyaza loop, it's like there's so much light here. And maybe that's what this is. This is the process of us taking off the blindfold and seeing the potential. Ah, I love that. And seeing the potential of everything that can be. You see that? I don't know if you can see it, but there's a little spire or there's a little tower right here. It feels like one of those fixed towers in the Pinamue card. But again, it's like the light is there, but then it fizzles out into smoke. That's us not being able to see the entirety of that trail of light. So that was all like it's all gorgeous on this side, which I'm not surprised by at all. But that's the energy that's coming out a lot lately. It's light that further evolves in light. It's darkness a lot of times that triggers us into healing, into a journey. A lot of times it's a dark night of the soul that starts us. But again, it's like, I don't know, it's a light that evolves further in light. It's almost like we have to reach the point where we don't need dark nights to get us to do what spirit is intuitively telling us to do. I don't know. Anyway, which one was first? I think this one was first. Yeah, no, this one was first because I think I put the first card on the top. So, Sariel, Angel of the Reigning Moon. As the earth tugs on the moon tugs back on the earth. For each force, another will always exist in perfect opposition. The lives of men and angels are similar, though the power of one may be greater than the other. Their existence reflects each other. This is honestly reminding me of Zuriel, Angel of Libra. So here's Zuriel. Sorry. Here's Zuriel, Angel of Libra. Microcosmic, macrocosmic energy. Is Ape was not gifted with great strength, stature, or wisdom, but his resolve was unshakable. His power was to fight with his heart. He took to the training ground every day, outlasting all who joined him. The struggle was his fuel. He was a cruel teacher, but the results of his mentorship convinced people to tolerate him for a while. I feel like this is that energy of us. It's the energy of the struggle was his fuel, and he was a cruel teacher, but he was tolerated for a while. And it wasn't the first death that made people sort of question it. This to me speaks of the systems that we live under. This to me speaks of how we've just accepted that the world is what the world is. It's a dog eat dog world. It's a cold world out there. Ain't no blankies. Where we all sort of learn to accept that Five of Pentacles reality while we try to build and amass wealth for ourselves. I feel like all of that is in here. And again, it's maintained by the struggle. It's maintained by us continuing to buy into the idea that for us to profit, someone else has to lose. And so we will go and take and take and take from those who are not us or ours. And sometimes we will take from ourselves. So, And again, I feel like this is the nature of that time loop. That's why the moon is stuck in this waning phase. Again, and I think I already said that. But that's why the moon is stuck in this waning phase, why it can never go new. Because this is an energy that we've been convinced needs to be. Ain't no blinkies. This is an energy that we've been convinced that it's just the way the world works. And so we continue to perpetuate it. We continue to, not only do we continue to perpetuate it, not only do we continue to buy into it, but because we buy into it, there are some of us who would attack others who don't operate in that way. There are some of us who will get angry that there is someone who is operating outside of all of the sacrifices that we have to make to be happy, that there is someone who can not take advantage of other people and still find success or love or comfort, that there is someone who doesn't have to sacrifice their integrity to get even more out of life than what we have. And it reminds me, I don't remember who it was or which space it was in, but someone was like, some people are so poor that all they have is money. And this is that energy that will be so poor that all it has is money. And it's like, well, I've made the sacrifices to have the money, so I should be the one that's happy. And once you get the money, unfortunately, a lot of times you don't want the system to change because you don't want to give up your money. And then if everybody has money, then you comparatively have less money. And you don't want that to happen either. That's that. The love of money is the root of all evil type of energy. And again, that's what keeps us stuck in these loops. The moon can never go new as long as Ape is there. Amen, D. Sorry, El Angel of the Waning Moon. Again, my body wanes and is distorted. Smoke moves all around me, troublesome clouds. And it's as if I cease to exist. I blink in and out of time and wonder if I can still be seen. When the light of seeing is denied even to me. Do you still whisper at dusk or cry out for me at midnight? Do you still reach to pull yourself up into my light? Or do you ebb as I wane? This is an interesting energy because it's almost like there's this question of in the space of things getting darker and darker and darker. Do you still seek out the light or do you succumb to the darkness? I almost wish I read this one first. And I started to. I wish I read this one first because I feel like I would have had more closure in this eighth loop. But that's fine. This also reminded me of something. Yeah, see, this reminded me of Pinamue again. By the way, we got the second Pinamue came out. The light Pinamue card came out in this, so glad for that. When it says, what is it? My body wanes and is distorted. Smoke moves all around me, and it's as if I cease to exist. That's this energy. That's the light that's fading out into smoke. And it's almost like Pinamue is sitting in this space of trying to protect the rest of this light from like fizzling out. It's like a candle that's burning out. It's trying to protect the candle, but there's nothing that Pinamue can do to stop it because we exist in a system of choice and will where our choices is honored. So if we choose to let that burn out, this angel can't do anything to save it. The limit of what spirit can do is put us in a situation hoping that we will then choose something different. And as soon as we choose something different, that's when spirit can come down and start moving. But I think it's also important in this space for us to have this be like a solid choice. Because with this Asmodel Taurus energy, we're establishing ourselves in something new so that when the world tries to spin worse and worse again, now we'll be able to resist it. It's like it's not bad to be anchored, but we want to make sure that we're anchored in an energy that we want to continue to experience. And for me, that's very Libra. With Libra being balance, I think sometimes it depends on where Libra energy positions itself on a duality polarity spectrum. Like if Libra positions itself in the not great side, then it will continue to balance out the not great. If Libra positions itself on the better side, then it'll balance out the better and it'll stabilize in better. And again, that goes back to this energy of how so many of us have just learned to accept the nature of the world and all of the tragedies and atrocities and things of that nature, that it's a dog eat dog world. So if you want, excuse me, if you want something, then you're going to have to go out and take it. You don't wait for life to give you something, you just go out and take it. Because we've accepted that, that's what we've positioned our scales around. And because we continue to believe and operate in that, that's what makes the world around us so resistant to change, when it is this naturally verdant and beautiful place where there's a natural abundance. And the card after that, the card after the eighth loop, or the Sariel loop, the card after the Sariel loop is this horn. So after we navigate out of the eighth loop, we navigate out of the Rim time trap, we grow in our Samyaza energy, the horn blows, and spirit emerges from the other side of the veil, ready to work with us again. Or that's a higher aspect of ourselves that now we come into union with, where we can really choose more. And it's like where we have more choice in our reality. And because of that, like, I feel like I can be a fairly indecisive person. So I don't necessarily like choice. And so there are some times when it's like being healed in some areas is not easy, because there were things in a space of reoccurring traumas and keeping old cycles alive. There were so many choices and decisions that would automatically be made. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do the other thing. I'm going to stay in my little box. But once you heal outside of the box, it's like now there are choices and decisions that you have to make outside. Like when I didn't think I had a future, even though I didn't want to stay home, I would have been a lot more likely to seek out opportunity here and to stay here. But now that I have grown outside of that box where I could literally go anywhere in the world, it's like, well, now where do I want to go? I don't know where I want to go, Spirit. I don't know what I want. I don't know. I don't know. Can you just make the choice for me? Like it was more convenient. Like I don't want to be in that space anymore. Obviously, I don't want to be depressed anymore. Like I don't want to go back to that. It was just there were so many things that I didn't have to really think about or consider, because as soon as I approached them, I had an answer. But now I get to choose, and it's like, how do I make a choice? It's cool, but for me, it did, especially more in the beginning. It had a little bit more overwhelm around it, especially like when I got an opportunity to like go to medical school, because going to medical school was something that was originally in my plan. And I was like, oh, I'm not going to go to medical school. But then when I got that email last year, and I was like, oh, well, maybe I can, like, I'll go to the UAE. Yeah. I'll go to, what was it, Abu Dhabi? Yeah, I'll go to Abu Dhabi. I'll go to Khalifa University. I'll go to medical school. That was my original plan, and I can do that now. But do I still want that? I don't know. You find that once you get the money, you don't even care about the stuff you wanted the money for, besides necessities. All I want to do, like, I want to be able to travel and experience the world. And I have had plenty of opportunities to do that. I went to London with my good buddy November of 2018. I just went to Michigan and Wisconsin with them. He's actually moving back to the UK. His girlfriend is moving to Canada. So if I want to go to the UK or Canada, I got somebody to stay with. Who was that? Gadriel, Angel of War. I guess he didn't get the attention that he deserved. So I'll read him again. Gadriel again, this is what happens after Bezaliel. After we come into more and more and more of an integration with everything that we've been in the space of purifying ourselves for, and readying ourselves for, when it steps from beyond the veil and it's just like, oh my gosh, like this is a lot. This is a lot of energy. This is a lot of spirit. Like, woo! Gadriel was a giant, even among his own kind. His spear stood as a symbol of assured destruction for anything that opposed the will of the Watchers. Despite his threatening stature, he was a peaceful soul. Most days he could be found sitting outside camp with eyes upon the horizon. Oh, Remiel, Angel of Visions. The light is beyond the horizon. Don't look at the darkness or don't focus on the darkness today, for light is beyond the horizon. Gadriel, with his eyes upon the horizon, a surreal portrait, serenity carved in alabaster. Once asked what he was thinking about, the angel lifted his spear and pointed up to the sky, the tines framing the North Star. Bottom of the deck, Cacaviel, Angel of Stars, again. The silent field of swaying grass waved at the ocean above. The giant, marched past us by the thousand, and many more, infinite upon infinite. They don't look back, we stare on. Oh, look! Oh, that's not the Bezaliel I wanted, but, you know. All right. And then Angel of Purity was at the top. So, I am sufficiently warm. I have enjoyed this time. I'm glad I did this today. And like I was saying earlier about like I feel like we're gonna be good. Like I feel like humanity's gonna make it. I feel like I don't have to be so worried about the state of the future of humanity and the planet of Earth. And then this beautiful message comes out like, thank you, yes. But we are in a space of choice right now. We are in a space of choosing. So it's almost like, and that's something that I encounter like every time. And I know Reem said that like, excuse me, she keeps getting this vision of a signpost that's blank. And it's almost like if you're asking for direction, you're not going to get it. Just like with what they said about Archangel Michael. Sometimes it's like now we're being put in a position, we're being put in a space of like there are things that we can that if I can speak, there are things that we can take care of. There are things that we can handle. We don't need spirit to necessarily step in and do everything for us anymore. And that's sort of what it means to be spiritually evolved, right? When you mature and when you get older, you don't always need someone to do everything for you. You learn to do it for yourself. You go into the space of doing it for yourself. And you develop and you grow in the space of that independence. And it's like if everything were done for you all the time, you would never grow. It's a space of choice right now. It's a space of decision. And if you figure out how to make choices and decisions, let me know. Because That's something that I am currently still in the process. But like I've experienced so much, and I continue to experience so much that redefines what I want out of life. And so I'm getting more and more and more clear on what it is that I want, on the path that I want to take, without necessarily having to do anything or go anywhere. So for me, and I got this message last year, there is something that is going to happen, or there is something that has been happening that will redefine my path, that will redefine what I want. And I could pursue something and then discover something else. Or I could make it less complicated and just continue to trust in this space and grow and evolve in this space and move when I'm directed and where I'm directed and guided to move. And then just like be there without having to go to like 20 other places first. And it's not that one path is necessarily any better than the other, but it would complicate things potentially, depending on what I invested in. So that's what I received for me. For y'all, it might be different, which is why it's great to have like your own connection, because then you can get that for you, right? So no problem, no problem. Whew, thank you all. I'm glad that you were here to experience this with me. I have fulfilled my purpose, I have fulfilled my duty, and I will now ascend the planet Earth. I'm not going anywhere. I'm just going to turn into a seagull and go live amongst my kind. Oh, if I could just change into a seagull and just go out there and live a seagull life with all my seagull friends, I would be so content. Y'all got this. Y'all don't need me anymore. You don't need any messages from me anymore. My work is done. It's so important to allow people to make their own mistakes so they can learn. If we do everything for loved ones, we're robbing them of the value of life experience. Yeah, exactly. So if you hear a seagull in Russ's video, know that that's me. If you don't see me and you hear that seagull, know that I've made it. All right. I'll catch y'all later. Thank you all so much for being here. Um, this is gorgeous. And like it might still be in the process of like working out or something, but I don't feel like it has to take as long as we may think. Because when the world and its people and spirit are all in accordance, then things happen faster. When we're no longer resisting that progression, when we're no longer resisting the energies that are sort of pushing us forward, then it happens faster. Things accelerate, right? You saw a goal this evening and you're in the Midlands. What? Ah. All right, no problem. I'll catch y'all later. Bye bye.